Whether or not Ripple needs XRP to be a high price is a hotly debated topic in the XRP community. Whether or not Ripple's products will add value to XRP and cause its price to increase exponentially is the precise topic we will discuss in this video. Gentlemen, in addition to discussing this precise subject with you in this video, I also want to demonstrate to you how Ripple responds to this query. I want to play a video for you that you may not be familiar with, in which Ripple explains exactly how their products will create value for XRP and how much value XRP must hold on to for Ripple's products to function as intended. This video is something you won't want to miss. However, I also want to discuss the macro environment near the end of the film. As I have been stating for some time, a macro environment that is conducive to cryptocurrencies will be necessary for 2024 to truly be this wild bull market. In fact, we learned some really fascinating details about that. Make sure to stay tuned for our discussion on that towards the end of the video. To begin this video, let me just quickly share with you the enormous loss the SEC recently suffered. This is something that I think will really show you how ridiculous the SEC's position on cryptocurrencies is. The SEC is completely collapsing in front of our eyes. Hester Peirce and the other Republican SEC chair actually released a letter earlier today criticizing the SEC for its inadequate cryptocurrency policy. I would like to present you with this post from Hester Peirce, as it will clearly demonstrate to you that the cryptocurrency business is not making anything up when it claims that registration is not possible. The Bitcoin sector, contrary to what some have claimed, is not making problems out of thin air. It will truly show you how ridiculous the SEC charade has been. So I want to show you what Hester Peirce and the other Republican chair put out there. Just so you know, Shapeshift is a cryptocurrency firm that attempted to register with the SEC. Hester Peirce posted this somewhat fictitious but actually quite real exchange online to highlight how ridiculous the SEC's registration procedure is. Hello Shapeshift says, "I'd like to sign up to be a dealer." Why, asks the SEC? As per Shapeshift, there is a possibility that the assets they intend to deal with could be considered securities by the SEC at a later time. Which ones, the SEC asks? Shapeshift responds, "I'm not sure because I can't really understand what criteria you use to determine whether an investment contracts token remains a security in the secondary market, and if it is, whether a token offering is a securities transaction. According to the SEC, you cannot register if you do not know if you are a securities dealer. Additionally, you are unable to register if any of the assets you are working with are not securities. Can you assist Shapeshift in considering which assets might qualify as securities? No SEC, you will understand it after reading this 2017 Dow report, which we recommend you do. If you'd like, you can also review our enforcement activities. I read that, and I read about your enforcement actions, says Shapeshift. I still have a lot of questions. Hire a lawyer, advises the SEC. I did as Shapeshift claims. The attorney still has a lot of doubts about what constitutes security and what does not. We apologize, but we are unable to assist you further than we have already. We do not provide legal counsel." It appears that Hester Peirce and the other Republican SEC chair staged that particular exchange. However, they are making reference to the discussions they have when a single Bitcoin company approaches them in an attempt to register. These Bitcoin companies say, "Hey, let's register. Let's follow the rules." And the SEC responds, "All right, which goods are you wishing to register?" "I'm not sure which ones are securities," they add. And that's where the conversation ends. I've been attempting to be transparent about this on my channel ever since the beginning. The SEC is deliberately making it difficult to register in order to outlaw cryptocurrencies in the US. By stating that all of your products are securities, the SEC is effectively making it difficult for any of these organizations to operate a cryptocurrency business by refusing to assist any of them with the registration process. Folks, the SEC lacks the authority to outlaw cryptocurrencies. However, they have the ability to create absurd restrictions. Consequently, backdoor regulations effectively render these business models unfeasible, thereby close to outlawing the sector in the US. It's the SEC's method of circumventing their real authority and carrying out actions that are improper for them to undertake. It's like if I created the traffic regulations and decreed that going forward your vehicle must abide by the rules governing aircraft traffic. You couldn't possibly accomplish it, of course. As a result, you were unable to operate your vehicle on the road, thereby rendering it unlawful. Did I just declare that driving was against the law? No. What I just said is that your car needs to perform an almost impossible task. The SEC is an ineffective regulator as a result. And for that reason, 2 SEC chairs have recently come out to criticize the SEC's cryptocurrency strategy. I thought this was a really intriguing encounter, so I want to move on and actually show you the clip I was talking about earlier in the movie. Here are a few Ripple employees discussing how their products they believe will drive the value of XRP. I wanted to play it for you since I believe that the XRP community sometimes undervalues this. Additionally, 24 Hours Crypto posted this. Thus, be sure to follow him. He offers top-notch material. Thus, pay attention to their capacity for that as well as the required price, as I had a conversation a few months ago with Miguel Villas, Ripple's head of XRP markets. We have been discussing Ripple's cryptocurrency, XRP. Before he could actually have that talk with banks to persuade them to adopt this as an on-demand liquidity instrument, he said, a substantially larger market capitalization was required. Both the volume of transactions and the number of exchange partners have to increase significantly. What does it mean about the price in comparison to some retail use cases or speculative use cases if it's simply being utilized for transmission like that? Will the price increase? In certain instances, the price will increase. All right, to be honest, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the driving value of Ethereum or Bitcoin is. That increases by 7 today. Apart from momentum, what's the reason for this? There isn't a use case yet. In my opinion, retail played a major role in Bitcoin's early popularity, and that was not successful. Suddenly, millions of people are holding it. With the approval of the ETFs and the greatest names in asset management entering the market with some speculative zeal, it's almost like a perfect storm for this specific asset class right now. All they'll do is hold it. Thus, the only application for Bitcoin now is as a store of value. And I believe that will continue. And they came upon that somehow. And perhaps that will continue in the future. However, the true story here with XRP is this basic demand driver. Yes, the market cap needs to be orders of magnitude larger if XRP is to be significantly integrated into the financial system. It needs to be capable of handling institutional flows with dollar amounts in the range of trillions. Consequently, when I discuss the $10 trillion that we handle each night, as you can see, it's much smaller now. It's about $30 billion, I believe. I apologize. UStack and USDT have a 24-hour volume of about $25 billion each. That is around 400 times less than our daily activities. Consider how much liquidity you would be removing from the system if you had to fully reserve $10 trillion in order to be able to make those payments on a daily basis. However, upon examining the market capitalization, it seems to me, perhaps that's what you're referring to, that there is $100 billion worth of XRP, and the market capitalization is at the moment trading at roughly 30 cents, or roughly $30 billion. Therefore, I believe that fundamental demand will drive both the present user base and the crawl, walk, run growth of the capital markets surrounding XRP, and businesses like VM are the source of that. Additionally, when more businesses integrate XRP and digital currencies into their funding streams, such as VM banks and other larger financial institutions, will come under intense pressure to do the same. Alternatively, they will be toast. They just cannot match the agility and competitiveness of a firm like VM, which does not have to deal with the treasury, overhead, and associated cost problems. I thought that was a really great video, folks. It clearly demonstrates how well the Ripple team understands how their products will ultimately drive XRP's value. What they are creating will increase the price of XRP by providing real-world utility. Regulations and actual utility demand are what are currently absent. Although utilities haven't been able to take over the market just yet, that day is coming, folks. Several of the greatest fraud companies pumped the hardest during the early stages of the dot-com bubble. Even though they never had a true business plan, some of the most successful companies never saw their prices rise over time. Because they weren't creating any value at the end of the day, they didn't offer long-term gains. They were overly dramatic pieces of vaporware that never added any value. That is the current state of many of the cryptocurrencies available on the market, and it's what sets XRP apart. Ripple is aware that what they are creating will be valuable in the long run because of this. And just to wrap up, guys, I want to quickly go over one last thing. 2023. In addition, I discussed how crucial the macroclimate would be for cryptocurrencies in the early months of 2024. I discussed the dire necessity for rate cuts by the Federal Reserve. And earlier today, Jerome Powell was precisely talking about it. In a clear statement earlier today, Jerome Powell said that provided all goes as planned, the Federal Reserve would begin reducing interest rates later this year. Since this video has already gone longer than planned, I won't go into too much detail right now, but please know that this is exactly what we wanted to see in order to put the environment at risk. Asset classes are at risk from cryptocurrencies. For large institutional investors, low interest rates equate to riskier investments. With Jerome Powell's announcement that he will be lowering interest rates later this year, it is almost a given that in 2024 institutional money will be flooding into this asset class, and that there will be a macroeconomic climate encouraging institutions to make large investments. Guys, interest rates affect institutions greatly. They will need low interest rates in order to invest significant sums of money in this asset class. It appears that's our destination. Therefore, I think we might be in for one of the biggest institutional bull runs this market has ever seen, if you combine that with the fact that the institutions are entering this market in a way that has never been seen before. Folks,